I am an old man now, and old men are invisible unless they speak. So I sit on this wooden bench every evening and wait for someone patient enough to listen. You asked me how to get rich. I smiled because young people always ask that the same way they ask for directions, as if wealth were a street you could turn onto if someone pointed clearly enough. Let me begin before money ever mattered to me. When I was young, I thought rich people were lucky. I believed fortune chose them the way rain chooses a field. Some lands bloom, others stay dry, and no one knows why. I chased that belief for years. I followed rumors, shortcuts, clever men with loud voices, and dreams that promised speed. Every time I ran faster, I arrived poorer. I worked jobs I hated for men I didn't respect. I counted other people's money and wondered why it never became mine. At night I lay awake, rehearsing conversations where I finally told the world I had made it. In the morning I woke up unchanged. What I didn't understand then is this: wealth does not respond to hunger. It responds to patience. Desperation repels it. Calm attracts it. I once met a carpenter who owned nothing impressive. His clothes were plain, his house small, his tools old. But he slept deeply. He spoke slowly. He never hurried. People trusted him. He charged fair prices and never negotiated against himself. 30 years later, he owned every building on his street. That was my first lesson. Riches arrive quietly, never chasing noise. If you want to get rich, stop asking how fast. Start asking how long. The first lie you must unlearn is that money comes from ideas. Everyone has ideas. Poor men have more ideas than rich ones. What separates them is not imagination, but execution repeated without applause. I once had an idea that everyone praised. They said it was brilliant, fresh, and guaranteed to succeed. I borrowed money to chase it. I talked about it endlessly. I imagined interviews about it. I spent more time describing it than building it. It failed exactly the way ideas fail, when they are fed attention instead of discipline. Later, I met a woman who ran a boring business. She sold the same product every day to the same customers in the same way. No innovation, no excitement, just consistency. 20 years later, she was wealthy enough to disappear from public life. That is when I learned the second truth. Money rewards reliability more than creativity. You do not get rich by being smarter than everyone. You get rich by being steadier than everyone. Most people quit during the phase where nothing is happening. They mistake silence for failure. Wealth grows underground first. If you keep digging just because no one is clapping, you will eventually hit something solid. And here is a secret few tell you. Being early feels exactly like being wrong. If you need validation, wealth will avoid you. It does not tolerate emotional dependency. Every form of wealth demands payment in advance. The currency is not money. It is discomfort. You will pay in boredom while others entertain themselves. You will pay in restraint while others spend. You will pay in humility while others boast. And you will pay in loneliness while others gather. When I was young, I wanted balance. I wanted success without sacrifice. That desire alone kept me poor for years. Rich people I have known all shared one trait. They were willing to look foolish longer than others were willing to endure. They saved when it was embarrassing. They invested when it was unpopular. They learned skills no one respected yet. And they waited while everyone else demanded results. There was a decade of my life where nothing improved. Same income, same house, same routine. Friends passed me by. Some mocked me kindly. Others pitied me openly. Then one year everything changed. Not because of luck, but because the roots were already deep. If you want to get rich, accept this. The world will not acknowledge your effort until long after it mattered. You must learn to live without witnesses. That is the price. Wealth is not earned in moments of intensity. It is earned in habits that feel too small to matter. The shift happened for me when I stopped trying to escape my life and started mastering it. I learned to manage money before trying to multiply it. I learned to say no to pleasures that demanded immediate payment. I learned to respect time more than comfort. Most importantly, I stopped comparing timelines. Comparison is the tax poor people pay daily. Rich people compare systems, not outcomes. Once I focused on building repeatable processes, money followed naturally. Not explosively, gradually, calmly, predictably. I noticed something strange. The more I respected money, the less I obsessed over it. I stopped using it to prove worth. I used it to buy time, peace, and freedom from fear. That is when wealth becomes quiet. If your dream of being rich involves impressing others, you will never have enough. If it involves protecting your future self, you might. Riches are not loud. Poverty screams. So here I am, back on this bench, older now, slower but clear. If I could give you one honest piece of advice, it would be this: do not chase wealth. Build a life that wealth feels safe entering. Be patient where others rush. Be consistent where others experiment endlessly. Be disciplined where others rely on motivation. And be humble when progress hides itself. Money follows order. Chaos repels it. You will not feel rich when it starts working. You will feel bored, stable, and unremarkable. That is how you know you are close. And when it finally arrives, it will not change who you are. It will only amplify what you already built in silence. Remember this, child. The goal is not to get rich quickly. The goal is to never be poor again. That difference is everything. I have said enough. The bench is cold now. Take this advice if you want. Ignore it if you must. Time will decide who was listening.